Hare Krishna, Dhanvatana Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, dear devotees. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you for your wonderful association. Hari Hari Bol to Shri Prabhu, Ramchandra Prabhu, and Nandakumar Prabhu for leading the chanting this morning. Start with our Mangalacharan and then reading from Shri Krishna book. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, we'll continue with our prayer from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Anybody would like to sing today? Amaresh Prabhu, I see you're on. You want to try it today?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the verse. You want to recite this verse? Sixth verse from Shikshashtakam.
Sixth, yes.
Nayanam Galadashrudharaya.
Nainam Galada Shrudharaya Vadanatha Gadgata Rudhaya Kira Pulakira Nishchitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyate.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And the meaning of this is...
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on the end of the recitation of your name? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
अपराध फले मम चित्त भेल वज्र सम तो नामिनाल विकार हताश होइए हरि तब नाम उच्च कोरी बुर दुखे डाकी बार बार दीन दयामयी करुणा निदान भाव बिंदु दे रखो पराना कभी तो अनाम उच्चारणे मोर नयने झरबोधर दार लोर गदगद स्वर कंठे उपजाबो मुखे बोल आध आध बाहिराबो पुलके भरबो शरीर हमार स्वेद कंप स्तंभ हवे बार बार विवर्ण शरीरे हरबो ज्ञान नाम समाश्रय धारो भूपराना मिलाबो हमारा किए आए छे दीना रोवे भक्ति विनोद मति हीना हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Amresh Prabhu ki jai. Would you like to read the translation also, Prabhu? Thank you for the wonderful singing.
Yeah, sure. O Lord Hari, as a result of my offenses incurred in previous lifetimes, my heart has become hard as a thunderbolt and feels no change upon chanting your holy name. Now in utter hopelessness, O Lord Hari, I loudly sing your name, and in great distress I call out to you again and again. O Lord, who is compassionate towards the fallen souls, O origin of all mercy, please give me a drop of divine ecstasy and thereby save my life. When will an incessant stream of tears flow dripping and dripping from my eyes at the articulation of your holy name? When will a faltering voice choked with emotion arise in my throat? And when will words garbled due to ecstasy come from my mouth? When will my body be filled with ecstatic rapture? And when will there be perspiration, trembling, and a stunned sensation again and again? When, out of divine ecstasy, will all consciousness be lost in my pale and discolored body? And when will I hold on to my very life under the shelter of your holy name? This weeping Bhakti Vinoda, who is devoid of all good intelligence, sobs, O Lord, how will such a day ever be mine? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu. Anything that you liked from this bhajan that you sang and read the translation?
Yeah, this is mostly about the emotions and the connections with Hari, Lord Hari. And I think previously everyone kind of explained that while chanting we may not feel that connection or emotion, but I think it is a journey that we go towards, that we were created by Lord Hari, right? And we stay connected while living our life and a purposeful life, and go back to Lord Hari. So it's a journey that I feel. I mean, I personal experiences some while singing, and then some of those bhakti songs and all. You get tear eyes just by listening to that, and then thinking of the God. And some you don't. So I think it's nothing to force it out. You will probably get that connection.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your personal realization. Yes, yeah, these beautiful bhajans that we sing, because these are composed by the acharyas, they naturally have the tendency to cleanse our heart. Of course, all of us are on our own unique journey, personal journey, right? So yeah, I may be much more fallen than all of you. So for me it may take many years, many lifetimes, right? But for you, probably you just sing one song and you get tears in your eyes. So yes, that is basically because Krishna is the all attractive. Akarshati ati Krishna. So Krishna akarshan karte hain sabko, right?
Yeah.
He is the all attractive, and yoga is the process of connecting back with the Lord, right? So we have to establish that connection, and that connection is already there. Naturally it is there, but because we have the rust of anarthas in our heart, the rust has to be cleansed. Then we will be attracted by the magnet of Krishna automatically. So the level of attraction, like we see, some magnets are powerful, they attract, and some iron, if it is rusty, then it will not get attracted. But if the iron is removed of the rust, then it will get attracted. Similarly, our hearts, to different degrees of anarthas, we have different degrees of lust, different degrees of rust, kind of like lust. So that is the whole process, that when we chant these prayers, we sing these bhajans, we recite the Mahamantra, any devotion service that we do selflessly helps to cleanse that rust. And the sooner that rust can be cleansed, the sooner we can be attracted by Krishna, and that connection will be there. So yeah, thank you so much, Amrish Prabhu. Okay, let's continue with reading from Shri Krishna book, chapter 4. We started yesterday, which was, I think, Krishna begins, Kamsa begins his atrocities. So yesterday we saw how Kamsa, was similarly, he had also tears in his eyes after he was trying to kill the 8th child, and then goddess Durga appeared, and she kind of chastised him that, fool, your killer has already taken birth somewhere else, and you cannot kill me, right? And then he had a change of heart. So maybe that divine vision of Durga, goddess Durga, cleansed his heart, at least temporarily, and he was able to feel that connection, and he had tears in his eyes. And then eventually he begged forgiveness from his sister Devaki and his brother-in-law Vasudev, and he was trying to speak all knowledgeable words. But we were saying yesterday that just speaking knowledgeable words is not enough, right? You have to apply them into your life, and that is what Kamsa was lacking. But anyway, but still the devotees are so merciful that both Devaki and Vasudev forgave Kamsa, and they kind of forgot all the atrocities that he had committed against them. And Kamsa released them. So let's continue reading after that. Anybody would like to read today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I can read.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes,
And
please.
maybe somebody else can also take over midway. We can do that.
Sure. Yeah.
I really like the idea of two people reading, so I think that's a good thing. So, okay, I'll start. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. But the next day, Kamsa called all his counselors together and narrated to them all the incidents that had happened the night before. All the counselors of Kamsa were demons and eternal enemies of the demigods, so they became depressed upon hearing their master speak of the night's events. And although they were not very much experienced or learned, they began to give instructions to Kamsa as follows: Dear sir, let us now make arrangements to kill all children who were born within the last 10 days in all towns, counties, villages, and pasturing grounds. Let us execute this plan indiscriminately. We think the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities. They're always afraid of fighting with us, and even if they wish to check our activities, they will not dare to do so. Because of your immeasurable strength, they fear your bow. Indeed, we have practical experience that whenever you stood to fight with them, they began to shower your arrows on them. They immediately fled in all directions just to save their lives. Many of the demigods were unable to fight with you, and they immediately surrendered themselves onto you by loosening their turbans and their tufts of hair on their heads. With folded hands, they begged you to spare them and said, My lord, we are all afraid of your strength. Please release us from your dangerous fight. We have also seen many times that you would never kill such a surrendered fighters when they were all fearful, their bows, their arrows, and chariots broken, forgetful of their military activities, and unable to fight with you. So actually, we have nothing to fear from these demigods. They are very proud of being great fighters in peacetime outside the war field, but actually, they cannot show any talent or military power on the war field. Although Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma are always ready to help the demigods headed by Indra, we have no reason to be afraid of them. As far as Lord Vishnu is concerned, he has already hidden himself within the hearts of all living entities, and he cannot come out of it. He cannot come out. As far as Lord Shiva is concerned, he has renounced all activities. He has already entered into the forest. And Lord Brahma is always engaged in different types of austerities and meditation. What to speak of Indra? He is a straw in comparison to your strength. Therefore, we have nothing to fear from any of these demigods. But we must not neglect them, for the demigods are determined enemies. We must be careful to protect ourselves. To root them out from their very existence, we should just engage ourselves in your service and be always ready for your command. The demons continued to say, if there is if there is some disease in the body which is neglected, it worsens and becomes incurable. Similarly, when one is not careful about restraining the senses and lets them loose, it is then very difficult to control them. Therefore, we must now be careful of the demigods before they get too strong to be subdued. The foundation of the strength of the demigods is Lord Vishnu, because the ultimate goal of all religious principle is to satisfy them. The Vedic injunctions, the Brahmanas, the cows, austerities, sacrifices, performances of charity, and distribution of wealth are all for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So let us immediately begin by killing all the Brahmanas who are in charge of the Vedic knowledge, along with the great sages who are in charge of sacrificial ritualistic performances. Let us kill all the cows, which are the source of butter, which is so necessary for performing sacrifices. Please give us your permission to kill all these creatures. Actually, the limbs of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu are the Brahmanas, the cows, the Vedic knowledge, austerity, truthfulness, sense and mind control, faithfulness, charity, tolerance, and performance of sacrifices. Lord Vishnu is situated in everyone's heart and is the leader of all demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Therefore, we think that to persecute the great sages and Brahmanas is to kill Lord Vishnu. Thus, being advised by the demoniac ministers, Kamsa, who was from the very beginning the greatest rascal, decided to persecute the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Being entrapped by the shackles of all devouring eternal time, he ordered the demons to harass all kinds of saintly persons. And then he entered his house. The adherents of Kamsa were all influenced by the mode of passion as well as illusioned by the mode of ignorance. And their only business was to create enmity with saintly persons. Such activities can only reduce one's duration of life. The demons accelerated the process and invited their deaths as soon as possible. The result of persecuting saintly persons is not only untimely death. The act is so offensive that the perpetrator also gradually loses his beauty, his fame, and his religious principles, and thus his promotion to higher planets is checked. Driven by various kinds of mental concussions, the demons diminish all kinds of auspiciousness. An offense at the lotus feet of the devotees and brahmanas is a greater offense than that committed at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. A civilization that commits such sinful activities generally loses all faith in the Supreme Lord, and such a godless civilization becomes the source of all calamities in human society. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the fourth chapter of Krishna. Kamsa begins his persecution.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Anybody else wants to start reading here? That this is good. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
ma'am.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Ritesh Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. The meeting of Nanda and Vasudev. Although Krishna was the real son of Vasudev and Devaki, because of Kansa's atrocious activities, Vasudev could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son, but Nanda Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. The next day, it was declared that the male child had been born to Yashoda. According to Vedic custom, Nanda Maharaj called her learned astrologers and Brahmans to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of the child, the astrologers calculate the moment of the birth and make a horoscope for the child's future life. Before the birth ceremony, the family members take baths, cleanse themselves, and decorate themselves with ornaments and nice garments. And they came before the child and the astrologer to hear of the future life of the child. Nanda Maharaj and other members of the family dressed and sat down in front of the birthplace. All the Brahmins who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras. According to the rituals, while the astrologers perform the birth ceremony, all the demigods are also worshipped on this occasion, as well as the forefathers of the family. Nanda Maharaj distributed to the Brahmins 200,000 cows, which were well decorated with clothes and ornaments. He gave the Brahmins not only cows in charity, but also hills of grains decorated with ornaments and golden bordered clothes. In the material world, we possess riches and wealth in many ways, but sometimes not in very honest and pious ways, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. According to Vedic injunction, therefore, one should purify such wealth by giving cows and gold in charity to Brahmins. A newborn child is also purified by gifts of grains in charity to the Brahmins. In the material world, it is to be understood that we are always living in contaminated state. We therefore have to purify the duration of our lives, our possession of wealth, and ourselves. We can purify our duration of life by taking a daily bath and cleansing the body inside and outside, and accepting the 10 kinds of purifying processes by austerities, by worship of the God, and by distribution of charity. We can purify the possession of wealth. We can purify ourselves by studying the Vedas in order to understand the absolute truth and achieve self realization. It is therefore stated in the Vedic literature that by birth everyone is born a Shudra, that by accepting the purifactory nature process, one becomes twice born, that by studying the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra, which is the preliminary qualification for becoming a Brahman, and that one and that when one perfectly understands the absolute truth, he's become a Brahman. And when the Brahman reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnava or a devotee. In Krishna's birth, all the assembled Brahmins begin to chant different kinds of Vedic mantras to invoke all good nature for the child. There are different kinds of chanting known as Sat, Magat, Vand, and Virudhavit. Virudhavli. Prabhuji, how do you say this word? Virudhavli.
Virudavali.
Virudhavli, yeah. Along with the chanting of mantras and songs, bugles and cattle drums sounded outside the house. On this occasion, the joyous vibration could be heard in all the pasturing grounds and all the houses. Within and outside of the houses, there were varieties of artistic painting done with rice pulp and scented water was sprinkled everywhere, even on the roads and streets. Ceilings and roofs were decorated with different kinds of flags, festoons, and green leaves. The gates were made of green leaves and flowers. All the cows, bulls, and cows were smeared with a mixture of oil and turmeric and painted with mineral like red oxide, yellow clay, and manganese. They wore garlands of peacock feathers and were covered with nice colored clothes and gold necklaces. When all the ecstatic cowherd men heard that Nanda Maharaj, the father of Krishna, was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became spontaneously joyful. They dressed themselves with very costly garments and ornamented their bodies with different kinds of earrings and necklaces, and wore great turbans on their heads. After dressing in the gorgeous way, they took various kinds of presentations and thus approached the house of Nand Maharaj. As soon as they heard that Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, all the cowherd women became overwhelmed with joy, and they also dressed themselves with various kinds of costly garments and ornaments and smeared scented cosmetics on their bodies. As the dust of the lotus flower exhibits the exquisite beauty of the flower, all the gopis, cowherd women, applied the dust of kumkum on their lotus-like faces. Their faces, their beautiful gopis took their differential presentation and very soon reached the house of Maharaj Nanda. Overburdened with their heavy hips and swollen breasts, the gopis could not proceed very quickly towards the house of Nand Maharaj. But out of ecstatic love for Krishna, they proceeded as quickly as possible. Their ears were decorated with pearl rings, their necks with jeweled lockets, their lips and eyes were with different kinds of lipstick and ointment, and their hands with nice golden bangles. As they were very hastily passing over the stone road, the flower garlands, which were decorated with bodies, fell to the ground. It appeared that the shower of flowers was falling from the sky. From the movement of the different kinds of ornaments on their bodies, they were looking still more beautiful. In this way, they all reached the house of Nanda Yashoda and blessed the child. Dear child, you live long just to protect us. While they were blessing child Krishna in this way, they offered a mixture of turmeric powder, oil, yogurt, milk, and water. They sprinkled the mixture not only on the body of child Krishna but on all other persons who were present there. Also, on that auspicious occasion, there were different bands of expert musicians playing. When the cowherd man saw the pastimes of the cowherd woman, they became very joyful. In response, they all began to throw yogurt, milk, clarified butter, and water upon the bodies of the gopi. Then Both parties began to throw butter on each other's body. Nand Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd man and woman, and he became very liberal in giving charity to the different singers who were assembled there. Some singers were reciting great verses from Upanishads and Puranas. Some were glorifying the family ancestors, and some were singing very sweet songs. There were also many learned Brahmins present, and Nand Maharaj, being very satisfied on this occasion, gave them different kinds of garments, ornaments, and cows and charities. And charity. It is very important to note in the connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavans were simply by raising cows. All the cowherdmen belonged to a shared community, and their business was to protect the cows and cultivate crops. By their dress and ornaments and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they still were rich in material possessions. They possessed such as an abundance of various kinds of milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's body without restrictions. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products. And by trading their agriculture products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away by charity lavishly, as did Nand Maharaj. Thus Nand Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, began to satisfy the desires of all the men assembled there. He respectfully received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned Brahmins, who had no other source of income, were completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance, and they received gifts on such festive occasions as birthdays and marriages. While Nand Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion and was trying to satisfy all the people there, his only desire was that the newborn child Krishna could be happy. Would be happy. Nand Maharaj had no knowledge that this child was the origin of Vishnu. He was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Meenu Mataji and Ritesh Prabhu, for reading this morning. Yes, so nice. This whole thing, as you were reading it, kind of you can paint that whole picture, right? The whole vision in front of our eyes is coming as we have seen Krishna growing up, and just the reading of these paragraphs. Prabhupada has so in detail explained what was going on and all the wonderful pastime. It's almost like the village scene is coming in front of our eyes. And as Amresh Prabhu was singing, here also we see, those who were singing the different bhajans. Nanda Maharaj was very, very happy with them, right? So that is what your devotees do. And as Nanda Maharaj was giving so much of so many things like cow and decorated cows with ornaments in charity, that is mentioned, and that is to purify our wealth, and especially in this day and age, we are all what we are earning. For example, like when I speak of myself, like if I work for Kroger is selling a lot of meat products, right? So of course the wealth that we get in our home is not pure, right? But when we use that wealth in the service of the Lord, in the worship of the Lord, in executing devotional service, devotional practice at our home, at the center, by giving in charity, to the temple. When we go to New Vrindavan, we give some charity, we help for the cow protection there, right? So like that, there are different ways that when we give in charity, then we can purify our wealth by offering, like we sponsor. We have given the opportunity for all of us to sponsor at our center for the Prashadam, right? So in that way we are serving the Vaishnavas, we are purifying our wealth. So the Lord is so kind and merciful that even though we are living in a very impure time period right now, with everything is so much corrupted, so much impurity around us, still we can live life of purity by keeping Krishna in the center. So that is so nice and so merciful of the Lord and His pure devotees that we have kind of found this treasure, so to say. Like Srila Prabhupada has given us this nice treasure, even though we are situated in complete filth all around us, right? So that is why devotees of the Lord, even though wherever they live, they can make that place a Vaikuntha. So So that is the blessing of our acharyas, that because of their mercy and what they have given us, we can just follow in their footsteps and make this place around us also Vaikuntha, even though everything else that is happening around us is so depressing. And yeah, these wars and killing, and killing of humans, killing of cows, slaughterhouses, everything is going on. And as the time degrades, it's only going to happen more and more. But still, just by following this simple process of bhakti, we can remain pure in this otherwise impure world. And that's why the association is so important. As we started, as Meenu Mataji was reading, we saw just when we started, we were saying that Kamsa was very repentant yesterday, and he was crying tears, and he begged forgiveness. And then immediately, as we started today, again because of the ill advice of his demoniac ministers, again he had that influence, because he was, like Prabhupada said, he was the foremost rascal, right? And so that tendency is very hard to let go. And as soon as you come in a bad association again, it again crops up, right? So that is why association is so important. Association of pure sadhus, pure Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. We always have to keep ourselves in good association, because if association is bad, like we say, jaisa sang, vaisa rang, right? Jaisa piyoge pani, वैसी होगी वाणी. So जैसा खाएंगे अन्न, वैसा होगा मन. So, but जैसा करेंगे संग, वैसा चढ़ेगा रंग. So, संग is very important. Association. So, as soon as he heard those words again from his ill-mouthed ministers, again his heart, which had all the anarthas, again, he started to think of how he can kill all the children that have been born. So, yeah. So we can learn so many things. Again, this is not just history, right? We can learn so many of these lessons, life lessons, and apply it on our own lives day to day just by reading our shastras. Okay, thank you so much again, Meenu Mataji and Ritesh Prabhu. Anything that you both would like to share on what you liked from reading today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll reflect something that we read at the last line, and something you also said. You talked about dhan also. So as far as dhan and buddhi, in this case, it's the power. In Kamsa's case, and the demonic ministers, they were feeling the power and the time that we have. All three of them have the three modes of nature, right? They can all be used in a satogun, in dana, or listening to bhakti, or doing charitable work, or it can be used, money and time can be spent in Las Vegas, just blowing it up, or power can be used to overpower uh, the weak, right? Rather than helping the weak, we try to be atrocious towards the weak. So all three of them can be used. And the main factor also, like you said, which determines not just as our buddhi, like Kamsa was becoming repentant, but the association, the ABCD, the association A plays a vital role in our lives when we are trying to use our dhan, buddhi, and time. That was the one thing. An offense at the lotus feet of the devotees and brahmanas is greater offense than that committed at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is something that to be very careful about. Yesterday, I was listening to a lecture from Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, and he asked a question: what is more important, or what is an important step, being a Vaishnava or being right? Sometime he gave two examples, and if you permit, I can share both examples, because that's something that stayed with me yesterday.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So first example, he said that let's say it's a Nirjala Ekadashi, and you see one of the exalted devotees making a beeline for the food line, and you also have kept Nirjala Ekadashi, it is, and you go and stop him. Prabhuji, what are you doing? It's a Nirjala Ekadashi. You are being right because you are letting that person know. But is that a Vaishnava achar? because the other one is also exalted devotee. The other one also knows it's a Nirjala Ekadashi. Then why is it wrong at that time? Even though being right, why is it wrong? Because you don't know that person's medical condition. You don't know that person's that hunger has taken over so much that he cannot perform his duties in serving the Lord and other devotees. There could be many factors. So at that point, being Vaishnava means not to interrupt, right? You don't, when you talk about being right, you're putting yourself at the center, that I know more and I am correcting the person. But when you being a Vaishnava, you're keeping the needs of the other devotee in mind. He said at the same time, there was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He went to somebody's house and he ate a lot, and so he would take afternoon nap, but soon as he came to his room, he just laid right on the doorway, like a food coma. And Govinda, his servant, his duty was to press his legs till he fell asleep. So he's laying right in the doorway. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not moving and he has to go on the other side of the room. So he crossed over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to the room so he could serve him. And when after half hour or something, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up, he said that he need to go do something else. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why did you not cross over to go? Why are you still waiting here? I had fallen asleep. Your job is to press my legs till I fall asleep. And if I had already fallen asleep, why are you still waiting? So the question was, what does Govinda tell him at that time? That, oh, Mahaprabhu, I came in to serve you. Oh, Mahaprabhu, I came in because I could not move you. What could be the answer? The answer was that Govinda said nothing. Because if he said that I came in and I did this, that will put him at the center, that I did this. So, but his job was to come and serve. He crossed over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to serve him in the mood of service. He did whatever it took to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he could not go out because that he was going to go away from the duty. So these were the two lessons that I learned from yesterday's class of Adi Gadadhar Prabhu. So I thought these were good to share today. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yes. By sharing, we remember those more and more, and by sharing, we are also doing Vaishnava Seva because you're helping us also remember those past times. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to say anything? Ritesh, were you going to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Thank you for sharing such wonderful thoughts and also getting us enlightened with those wonderful teachings from Prabhuji. I just wanted to share, like, while reading about this Krishna's book, and we were all taken to Janmashtami, and also showed like how charity can be so blissful, can be so purifying, and also like how by acting such wonderful things, it's of charity and blessings, uh, we were able to get into the site where Krishna was born and how the village was celebrating and how everyone was celebrating. It just brought me into tears, that as if I was also present at the time of Janmashtami, of the real birth of Krishna with the villagers. So that was my only thought while reading again and again all the things that we do at ESKCON during Janmashtami, and not only at ESKCON but even during my childhood, we used to go to Janmashtami to different temples. Those were all getting reflected back into my mind. So it was a wonderful reading, and thank you everyone for being for the nice association. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, sabko dhanwad pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing and thank you for coming to the center every Saturday, everybody, and getting association of each other. That keeps us going. It's like our recharge day every Saturday. And yes, and that's also an austerity, as we're talking about austerity, right? Because what is most important in this day and age? The value of time, right? So by giving that time to the Lord for whatever 3-4 hours that we come on Saturday to serve, to take association, to give association, to be in the company of the devotees, do some seva. All of that is austerity of time, and so that is what we are reflecting on. Tapas chasmi, tapas vishu. So I am the penance and those who practice penance, Krishna says, right? And today also we saw all the austerities, like we were talking about Nanda Maharaj and all the things that we are performing. Those austerities, they are all Brahmanas, Vedic culture, everything is limbs of Sri Vishnu. So by performing, by giving our time, is one of the biggest austerity that we are doing to Krishna. So we can remember Krishna that way. And yeah, austerities are performed even by Prishni and Sutapa in the previous millennium, as Devaki and Vasudeva now. Right? So they perform so much of austerities, standing in rain, standing in scorching heat, against wind, right? Eating only leaves, right? So they perform so much of austerities, and then they were meditating on the Lord and remembering the Lord. So that is what pleased Krishna so much. So we, at least today, we don't have to do that. We don't have to stand outside on our toes and do meditation like that. But in this age, just by waking in the morning, by reading these books, by chanting our japa, that is austerity that we are performing. And if we are remembering the Lord through that, then Krishna is pleased with us. So let's all remember Krishna that way, as by performing these austerities. Okay, we will pause here for today. Thank you so much for your wonderful association every morning for our japa and reading. With Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari Hari.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.